Hello and welcome to PowerBuilder TV. In this webinar, we will look at Appeon for PowerBuilder, Resizing UI for Mobility. Today's presenter, Yakov Werde, is a SAP PowerBuilder MVP and a PB evangelist with over 25 years of experience in the IT industry. He is a recognized author, speaker, and trainer who has been designing and delivering PowerBuilder training for over 15 years to corporate, military, and government developers. He is the managing partner of eLearnit, a PowerBuilder training and application consultancy company. Welcome, Yakov.
Thank you so much, Liz, and thank you everybody for joining this session today. I'm going to show my screen now, and we'll jump right in, and here we go. Okay. The title of today's seminar is Appeon Mobile Resizing, and I've subtitled it, An Automated Support Way for Weary Coders. And you'll soon discover what I mean by that subtitle. So first of all, who I expect is joining me today. I'm expecting that you are experienced professional PowerBuilder developers who are either currently using the Appeon 1.0 mobile platform, and therefore you're interested in new features in Appeon 2.0, because this resizing is a new feature in Appeon 2.0, or you're considering using Appeon Mobile 2.0 and would like more detail about its features. Or you're a client-server developer with a professional interest in new developments in your world, and therefore this is a new development. Appeon Mobile is a great new development, and this will give you professional enhancement. So that's who I expect is out there, and that's who I am speaking to in this presentation. There I am, and my credentials. I'm an SAP Mentor, and I'm part of the SAP universe as an independent. I was a Sybase MVP, rolled up now. I was a member of Team Sybase, which is no longer an active group. I still retain my PB instructor status, and I've been a PowerBuilder developer certified since going back to version 3. And I've been in the computing industry for about 30 years now. As you can tell from the white hair and my beard, definitely, time does take its toll. If you want to contact me afterward directly with any questions regarding the content of today's presentation or anything about eLearnit in general and PowerBuilder or in general or Appeon in general, feel free to email me at my direct email address, which is yakov@yakovwerde.com. I'll put that up again at the end of the presentation. Okay, I'll just give you a word about my organization, eLearnit LLC. We provide a full universe of PowerBuilder-centric consulting services, including project outsourcing, developer training, and consulting. And of course, now we've brought into our barn Appeon, and so we provide a full universe of Appeon for PowerBuilder services too, including prototyping, proof of concept creation, developer jumpstart training, and project outsourcing. We have a very broad experience in a very wide range of industries and applications, which span the years of myself and my network of affiliates. Okay. Alrighty. This, by the way, the purpose of today, in addition to providing you with deep technical information on a single topic, is really to introduce to you something that's going to be happening live next month in Atlanta, Georgia. And at the ISUG Tech Conference, I will be presenting a 2-day live hands-on workshop that is called Going Mobile with Appeon for PowerBuilder. Today's content is one small excerpt from that very packed, detailed, full, hands-on workshop filled with labs. So in any event, this that you're looking at right now is a description from the ISUG Tech website that I'm going to share with you right now as I just scroll across here for 1 second. Okay, and again, this is a plug for the ISUG Tech conference and specifically the workshop that I'll be doing there at that conference. And in general, here's the URL for it. And somewhere down here on the bottom of the page is me. And there we go, the last 2 lines. You need not be attending the full conference to attend the workshop. The website is not crystal clear on it, and it's a bit of a chore to find your way around to be able to take care of the registration. If you have difficulty doing so, you're welcome to contact me, and I'll assist you in attending just this workshop part of that event. And it's going to be on Thursday and Friday, That's the 17th and 18th of April in Atlanta, Georgia. And it's intended to jumpstart the knowledge base and experience level of an experienced PowerBuilder developer so that you can rapidly get your arms around the Appeon Mobile technology. Okay, so that's the plug for what you can do if you're serious about Appeon and how you can get yourself ready. Okay, so now let's jump into today's content. Our objectives today is that when you are deploying an existing or new PowerBuilder application to Appeon. So again, when you are deploying an existing or new PowerBuilder application to Appeon Mobile, you should be able to wisely choose a proper user interface resizing strategy from among the various implementation methodologies. And then you should be able to properly implement that strategy using vendor-supplied tools and/or PowerScript code constructs. Now, I might have said some highfalutin big words, but pretty soon you'll see exactly what I mean. Okay, so here comes the content. All right, in general, the idea of resizing is, okay, that when you are running on a device, okay, you need to make sure that your UI is tuned properly to that device. Now, as a very basic approach to this, when you deploy into Appeon, the deployer, as you can see right here on the upper right, has a choice via which you can constrain the type of device that you are deploying to. You can restrict yourself to smartphone, or you could restrict yourself to tablet, or you could deploy a single application to both. In general, the notion here is that because of the form factor difference, and in fact the usage differences between a tablet app and a smartphone app, you really should be tuning your UIs and your functionality to each device. And as such, Appeon could help you to restrict the access to this application to the intended device category. So what happens if you run on a device for which the deployment was not intended, accidentally, okay, somebody finds out that you have this application and kind of installs it in the workspace. Okay, that's another discussion. What will happen is you will get the device will be presented with this little message box saying, sorry, okay, you're on a phone, buddy, and you're trying to run a tablet app, so sorry, you'll need to consult with your IT team. Okay, now of course you don't want users seeing this, but you know, as a final resort, this restriction is built into the deployment descriptor information. Okay, now the point, however, as I mentioned earlier, is that you typically are going to have device-specific UIs. Now, okay, in general, the kind of UIs that are for a mobile device, a phone or a tablet, okay, you're designing for the target device, as I mentioned earlier. Okay, and so within a category, and I know there's a lot of words on this slide to consume, let me just tell you at a high level, within, for example, a category of devices such as phone, in the iOS world you have the iPhone 4 and the iPhone 5, which are different sizes, but they're within range of each other. So at that point you might want to do minor runtime visual adjustments to accommodate small size changes. Okay, and the same thing also on tablet size device, or in fact now this new kind of thing that's called a phablet, which is kind of a small tablet like a phone, but not quite a phone. So the point is that you might need to do some small alterations within a category, but you're going to want to design for the category. Now, sometimes you might take an application with a client-server UI and directly deploy it to a mobile device, in which case it might behoove you to do some UI resizing automatically, okay, to treat the UI in a way that it'll fit onto the device. Now, what I mean by that is that some older PowerBuilder applications, and even current ones, are designed for smaller screen sizes, like 10 by, like Super VGA, 1024 by 768. Well, that's basically the size of a UI on a tablet. In which case, things are going to work and deploy pretty smoothly directly across without too much change for UI, assuming that your controls are adjusted for the touch experience versus the mouse experience. But the point is that there might be small variations within that range too, in which case you might need some automated resize treatment. Okay, so that's the whole idea here about device-specific UIs and adjustments within the category. Now, As we all know and we are all aware, the PowerBuilder platform does not natively provide window control and data window object resizing services. Okay, we all know that resizing behavior is a custom application code defined facility. Now, those of you who have been around the block long enough know that the PFC, okay, provides a resize service, which it adds to the base platform. And so what you do if you're a PFC developer is you put in some declarative style code that instructs the PFC how to resize and manage based upon the window container being resized. And you'll instruct it via your various declarative settings, or actually code-based settings, what to do with each control as the user resizes the window. Okay, now many programmers who don't use the PFC will have or might have extracted the PFC resize service and scaled it down for use within their own frameworks. That's a very common approach. Okay, so just in general, Appeon does support the PFC resize service, so Windows under its control will continue to resize properly when they're displayed in Appeon Mobile, and of course Appeon Web as well. Okay, now what I'm going to do now is this is going to be partly a live application demo. Okay, so let me just start. Okay, the application that I'm going to be using for this demo is a classic Windows application. It's open source. It's part of the PowerBuilder platform. We'll just jump over here to my PowerBuilder, okay, and open up my workspace here. Okay, and what you'll see, what you see over here is the example application that ships with PowerBuilder. Okay, this is called PB Examples, and I have just copied it into a particular folder here as part of our Appeon Mobile Workshop lab setup. But in general, this is the vanilla PB Examples application. All right, and I've already provided a deployment mechanism here. Okay, and I've named this application PBE. Okay, as a shortcut because I don't like fingering big long words when I configure these things on my devices. So I've just named it PBE for it. Okay, and it's a mobile project, and I have already deployed it onto my desktop. Okay, excuse me, I've already deployed it onto my tablet here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to my tablet display, turn on my mirroring, and in a second you should see it, and there it is. Okay, great. And here we have my Appeon workspace, okay, in which I have already installed this application. Now, what I'm doing right now is I'm going to show you the following thing. First, I'm going to run this thing client server. Okay, so here we are, client server, and it's starting up, connecting to the database, just starting my ASA database. Chunk. Okay, and it'll just in 1 second. As soon as it does it, okay, it opens up, and notice that the window is maximized. Okay, and everything sizes on this main window according to the size of the window. So if I were to restore this thing down, you can see that the tree view and the affiliated other display controls have been sized according to the UI. Okay, and I'll just also show you, just shut this down now. Okay, I'll also show you that in the PowerBuilder code, and here we go, just how it works and how they've coded it so you can understand. The window is named WMain. Okay, and right here, all of the explicit resize logic. Okay, and this was the original code that was in the application. I haven't touched it. Okay, so that's what's at play right now. And so now when I hop on over to my device and I stretch out my right hand and touch the screen, okay, and the application starts up. And again, this is an untouched application. Okay, there it is. And it's now rendering according to the resize logic that was inside the window open event. Okay, and that's mainly what I wanted to show you. Okay, for the purpose of this display. So if you already have logic that's inside your application, okay, and your window is reasonably designed to fit into a small form factor display, then, well, you have very little to do to make your application run. Okay, so that's the baseline application, and I've showed you how it works. Okay, great. Now, let's get into Appeon specifics. And this is specifically geared to those people who, have just been using one size monitor all along, and there's no resize logic in their application. Or they want to design a UI specifically for a device, but they want to make sure that they have resize logic in there to handle the small differences among form factors within a category. So now Appeon provides two additional resize mechanisms. There is a server-based facility, which is built into the Appeon server, and I'll show you the interface to it inside the Appeon manager in just a moment. And this is managed declaratively, via the AEM tool. And this is called the Mobile UI Resizing tool. Alternatively, Appeon does provide what I would call an extension to, an enhancement of, the PFC resize service. They took it and they tailored it and provided a little more functionality to make it a little more developer friendly, and they provided it for you inside an application library, and that's called the PB Resize Pibble. That's provided by Appeon. And again, this is open source code that they went ahead and modified. And we can just come over here to my system tree for a second, and there it is. It's called Appeon undersized resize Pibble, and there are the pieces, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. Okay, so there you go. Those are the two mechanisms: the server-based facility, codeless, declarative, based on the settings in the enterprise applicant manager, and or the PowerScript-based resize service, okay, in a Pibble that Appeon provides. Okay, now if you headed into AEM, and specifically you went down to, as I'm pointing down here in the lower left, the mobile UI resizing section, you would get a list of applications that have been deployed into your server for mobile use. And then you select your application and you drill in. Now, just a few details about this service, and then I'll show it to you in action. Okay, I'll do a little demo and I'll show this to you in action. So let me hop on over here to my browser, and here we have the my AEM. Wrong. Okay, let me just yes, here we are, and I'm in my AEM, and hopefully it hasn't timed out yet. And okay, it has timed out, and okay, so let's just do this all over again. And I did enhance the timing, but I've been sitting here so long already that okay. Yeah, so here we go. Now when I come over here to mobile resizing, okay, notice that there are two sections. And let me turn on my zoomer here for to make this a little simpler. And I believe that's the story. That's the guy right there. Okay, there's no, it's not the wrong icon. Sorry guys, sorry. Slight slip of the hand. There's my zoomer. Okay, so let's run it. Okay, now I can do this. Okay, now you'll notice two sections here. There's a screen size section and a window size section. Okay, basically it meant the tool maintains a catalog of sizes. When you're looking at the screen size, you'll see that it's pre-populated with the well-known sizes. The well-known sizes are for the iDevices. And you'll note the 4-category, the 5-category phone, and the iPad. Okay, now, as my slide says, okay, in general, the iOS 4, okay, screen sizes, the iOS devices are already there, and they're already known. Okay, as far as the Android devices go, there are just so many different Android devices, and there's so many different combinations thereof that they're just too many to list. And so therefore, what they provided is an auto detect feature. And what's going to happen there is when a new device is registered, this auto detect feature will actually add it, okay, and it'll be called automatic register, okay, and you can actually go in there and rename it. In fact, I'm going to perform that right now. I have right here, and I'm going to attach myself right now to my Android device just to show this to you. And there we go. I'm connected now, and I'm attached to my Android device, and I'll full screen this thing. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this application. So I will come in over here and I will go to, actually I'll come over here on settings and I'll add an app. And okay, let's just hope this sucker works. Okay, it does. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to here and excuse the typing now. Okay, this is a live demo, 192.168.0.253/PBE. And I ought to be able to test this thing now. And test it successful. Okay, and there we go. And now it's installing the application. Okay, great. And again, I'm a developer, so I have full access to all this stuff. So there it is, and now I've got this app all registered here, and I'm just going to open up the app and run it by just double-clicking the thing. Okay, no, I don't want to set the directory, and just let's let it run. Okay, and there it is. Okay, now I'm going to go over to my browser, and I'm going to refresh this page. And let's just see if the screen size is there now. And there it is. Okay, you can see it's been automatically registered. Now at this point, I can edit the name, and I know what this is because this is my Nexus 7. Okay, which I already did this before. Okay, and I can save this thing now, and I now have the form factor defined for for this thing. Okay, and it now knows this device. Okay, so this is a 960 by 600 display, which is a pretty unusual size, non-standard, but definitely out there. Okay, so now it knows the size of this thing, and you can see, okay, that the standard code that was in there, this is the code-based approach, still works just fine. Okay, so the first feature that I just showed you about Appeon was this automatic detection about screen sizes. Okay, so that's the point of that. Okay, added on the first access. Wonderful. Now, okay, now what you can do here is you can define resize behavior in the server, which will be automatically applied to the application. So what I'm going to do here as part of a demo to show you how all this works is I'm going to come up here to my code, and I'm going to uncomment this thing, and I'm going to do a return as the first line of my resize event, which basically means that right now, after I deploy this thing into Appeon, and you'll see it in 1 second, here we go. Let's just deploy, okay. I'm going to deploy my PBE, and I don't want that, and I do want this, and there it goes, okay. And I'm going to come out of here, and let's just say I'll just, while you're doing this is happening and you're watching that, I'm going to exit this application. Yes, I do, on the side here. Okay, it'll be done in a second. This is, I think I did a full build instead of an incremental. I didn't notice what I did here. Yeah, so it's doing a full build instead of an incremental build, which it really would have been a flash if it was incremental. Okay. Sorry for that delay. And I'll just come over here to my iDevice display, which is sitting on top, and we'll wait for this thing to finish. Okay, okay. So while this is finishing, what you're going to expect to see here is you will expect to see the application come up, and it will not resize properly. Okay, that's the first part of this demo. While that's happening, I'll just come back over here. So what I'm going to do thereafter is I'm going to go inside the Appeon Enterprise Manager, and I'm going to turn on a behavior to automatically adjust the size of all the windows of my application. Okay, now I can do it at the app level, or I can do it at the window level. Am I done? PowerBuilder, am I done? 61%. Okay, yes. Okay, well, we have to keep waiting. Alrighty, and then, okay, the thing will be resized. Ta-da! Okay, shall I whistle Dixie while this is happening? Okay, 91%. Oh, okay, 93, 100. All right, ding, 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 ding. Okay, it's deployed, and I know there are errors, and that's just fine, and I'm going to finish. Okay, so here I am now, and I'm going to touch this thing in my, okay, on my iDevice, and come on up, honey. Ding. Look, okay, look, guys, it didn't resize properly because the resize behavior is turned off. Okay, and that's what it looks with the resized event disabled. Okay, so great. So let's just do that, and I'll come over here and I'll exit this application, and I'm sure I want to do so. All right, so now what you do is you go inside the Appeon Manager, and I come over here now, and I go back to my UI resizing, and I go to window size, and I choose my example, which is PBE. Okay, and it has 238 windows in it. Okay, and there are 2 devices that are configured for this, and I come over here and I say, well, right now it's set for, okay, for the screen size 1024 by 768, which I'll now just check. Okay, now it's set to the PB design values, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to auto fit to full screen. Okay, and I'll do a save. Hold on. Okay, just clicked it twice just to make sure. Now I'm not going to touch my code. I'm not going to redeploy nothing. I'm just going to run the app again. Okay. Look, guys, I didn't touch anything. So basically, okay, the code itself that was sent down JavaScript, or it's being generated by the app server, okay, is handling the resize, which is pretty good for the device. Okay, not perfect, but pretty darn good for the device. Okay, now of course, if I wanted to drill in here more, I could go into the window list, and I could, you know, do all kinds of adjustments here on a per window basis. Okay, I'm not going to go through that demo right now. It's pretty laborious, but I think you get the idea. Okay, and the same thing also, I'll just do the same exact thing now for my other device, which is my Android Nexus 7, and I'm going to close the application. Yes, I am sure. I want to close the app, and I'm going to come in over here now, and I'm going to right now I'm going to run it again. Okay, and it should be set right now for the PowerBuilder. Okay, and look, you see, there's no resizing there. Okay, no resizing. Same thing. Close. Yes, I'm going to close the app, and now I'm going to go into my AEM. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to do this. Okay, and I'm going to do this and automatically fit the full screen. Okay, and I'm going to save the change. Okay, and now I'm going to come back over to my thing, and I'm going to touch it and run it. And look, the size was automatically adjusted. Not bad, huh? No code. Look, no code. All right, so there you go. All right, that's the story of how the first facility works, okay, which is automatic resizing behavior. So if you have a large application, and it may very well be that without doing very much manual work, you can get things adjusted properly. I could show you this on a phone too, but the phone, you get the idea. It'll behave basically the same way on a phone. Okay. Alrighty. Now, that's method number one. That's the automated AEM resize tool. Now, Appeon, as I was telling you earlier, extracted the PowerScript-based resize service from the PFC and enhanced this functionality somewhat to simplify resize configuration. Now, it may very well be that you're going to need some more fine-grained control, and you like to do it in a code-based way. Okay, and among the reasons, because you're supporting multiple different platforms, and you want to have one code-based solution for everything. Okay, well, in that case, you might want to use the Appeon mechanism, which is basically a PowerScript-based mechanism, as I was showing you, and I'll just show you in detail now. Okay, basically, it's this library, Appeon Resize Pibble, okay, which is provided by the vendor, and inside there are 3 different code objects, non-visual objects, and there's this resize compose, resize, and resize attributes. And this is really, the resize one is basically the PFC one, which is extended, I do believe, if I remember correctly, by resize compose. Okay, yes, if you look at resize, okay, I think what they do is they call methods on resize compose. And specifically, that what they added here is this one method called OF_init, okay, which I'll show you at work in just a moment, in addition to the basic resize functionality, which was all here, and the basic stuff that you found and you would be familiar with if you already know the PFC resize service. So again, the extension to this, not via inheritance, but via composition, is that the resize compose extends the behavior of the basic PFC resize service in an Appeon-specific kind of a way. Okay. So with all that said, okay, this service, being that it's all PowerScript-based, works in client-server, web, and mobile device deployments. So that's nice. So if you don't have resize behavior, you want to add it, and you're an Appeon customer, you can use the Appeon mechanism for adding this facility to your application. Okay, and again, yes, this is basically what I told you. The resize compose wraps a modified version of the original PFC, okay, and the 3 code objects are totally standalone. So if you're an Appeon user and you have other applications that are not Appeon, you can also use this in those other non-Appeon deployed applications as well to add resize to your application. Okay, let's look at the basic code algorithm. Okay, what you do is you go in and you define a reference variable, okay, in the appropriate scope. In this case, it's an instance variable, okay, and then you, in your main or on your window, and that's wmain in your window, what you do is OF_init method is different than the one than the approach you would take for PFC. OF_init basically looks at your window and figures out, at a best guess, based upon the controls and the ones that are in its neighborhood, what the resize behavior should be. Got that? It does a best guess approach, which works 90% of the time, if you're lucky 100% of the time, okay, to telling each control how it should behave on a resize. And then, just like in the PFC, you go into the resize event, and you go ahead and you just redirect to the PFC resize, passing the parameters that are passed into the resize, which is redirection is exactly how it's done in the PFC. Okay, now, basic. All right, so let's just do a demo here. Let me just see, am I ready for a demo? Okay, so demo time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my application manager, and I'm going to set everything back to PB design values. Okay, and I'm going to save my changes. I'm going to save my changes, and life is good. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in my code, and in my window code, and I can close this up now because it's just confusing the screen. I'm just going to come over here in my window code, and I've got the code already in there. And I'll take out my, okay, I'll uncomment my return, and I'll come over here to my instance variables first, and I'll define the instance variable, okay? And then what I'll do, and I've already added this to the library list, so we're good. And now I'll come over here to my open event. Start there first, so I go in sequence. I go to the open event, and there we go. I'm going to, okay, move this line of code down over here so that it's executable. Okay, I've turned on the service, and then I'll go over to the resize event. And what did I do now? Oh, because I left off the I. No. That's what they say in the Bible, an eye for an eye. Okay, got it. I lost my eye. So, moving right ahead here, I go to the resize event, and now I come over here and I will do my redirection. Okay, and life is good. Alrighty, now, and I guess, and now after this I'm going to put my return down below because I don't want all this other stuff to be executing. So let's move the, oh, there we go. I'm sorry, I'll put that return. There's the return. I need to uncomment right there. Okay, so there it is. Okay, and all the code below is now not going to be executed. All right, no smoke and mirrors in my demos. I do them live. I don't fake. Okay, I'll just close this up just for good health. And I'm going to deploy the app. And before I do that, incremental deployment. Okay, unattended deployment. All right, now this should really be quick now at this point. Okay, thank you. Just touching W main. Thank you. All done. That's what I was expecting. Okay, so the deployment was pretty quick. And now on my device, I'm going to come over to my device, my iOS device, and I'm going to close the application that's there. Okay, I've been deployed. Now I touch this, and you know Appeon automatically synchronizes changes that go out to the server, so this should be ready. Now I know. I say, duh, duh, duh. Come on, honey. Duh, duh, duh. All right. Not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, it did a best guess approach, but it guessed wrong for one of my controls. Okay, you can see it's resized it. You can see the width on the tree view is correct, but the position is not correct and the height is not correct. Okay, but the other two controls, okay, which are in that little group box current example, they resize correctly. So it did a pretty good job. Okay, and it would be the same thing on the Android device if I were to show that to you right now, which I guess, hey, what the heck, I'll do the same thing for my Android device. And here it comes, and I better exit the application before I show this to you. So let's close the app, and I got to reload it. Let's come on again, close the app, and I want to reload it. Okay, and now I'll reload it, and now it's reloading. Okay, good. Da, 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 da. And the same flaw exists over here. Okay, so the resize algorithm didn't do it 100% precise. You got close. Okay, so there's some manual adjustment that needs to happen. So let's just close the application here, and we'll do the same thing on my, okay, on my iDevice. I'll close the application here. And I'm going to exit the app, and yes, we're done. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what you need to do. Okay, this is again a little bit more of a of a fudge factor kind of a thing. In other words, you have to do a little manual adjustment. So, special handling. If controls are incorrectly positioned, you can augment their service registration with specific instructions. Okay, so basically, this is the same code you would do with PFC. Okay, and what I'm going to do is over here, I'll uncomment this, and I'll say, hey, this tab that's called tab examples, we don't answer phone calls during a demo, I'm going to say scale right bottom. Okay, that's a constant that's defined inside the resize service. Okay, and those of you familiar with that this code mechanism know exactly what you're looking for here. And now I'll go into my PowerBuilder application, and I'll open up my main window, and just to show you how this works, okay, and my main window, which is right there in my W main. And now I'll go into my open event, which is probably where I'm going to do this, because I want this to happen before the window appears. And there's the code right there, okay, and I'll just chunk this, take it right out right there. Okay, and basically I've said, okay, register this thing, okay, so that it scales right bottom, okay, and don't do any other type of scaling with it. So I've now told it, don't guess, but I've told it how I want it to be. And now, yeah, I've saved, so I'll go ahead and deploy with this thing open. So I'll go ahead and deploy now. All right, it's already running. All right, I'll finish. And now I'll go ahead and I'll run this thing one more time. And here comes the deploy. Thank you. I'm going to do a local deployment incremental, unattended. Yes. Done. Okay, only a W main. That's all I touched. Thank you. Click, clack. Deployed. Finished. And we're done. And now I will come back over here to my iDevice, and I will do this, this, and this. Come on. And look, it looks as expected, properly resized. Okay? So that's approach number 2, which that's the Appeon resize code-based approach, which is the extension to the PFC service. Okay. So you've seen the demo, you've seen it live. I hope you understand how it works. And here's a comparison between the methods, as you can see in this little chart that I have assembled, okay, to help you understand when to use which. Okay, there's the UI tool approach, okay, which works on all controls and fonts, whereas with the resize pivot, it's only resizable controls. With the UI tool, there's no coding. With the pivot, there's minimal effort. Okay. Now the UI tool affects, okay, the non-resizable controls may not look pleasant. And again, there's a list of which are non-resizable automatically. Okay. And so with the resize pivot, you may get a better final approach because it, okay. Actually, I take that back. It's the other way around. Oh, no. Well, no, it's only resizable controls. That's correct. Only resizable controls. If you use the init method. If you use the init method, it only does resizable controls. Okay. Performance-wise, for performance, the UI tool is faster on a window with many controls because it's done at the server, okay, as opposed to on the device. There's no code that's executing on the device. So the resize pivot may take longer to resize a window because the device may be a slower device. It's portable. It's useful for if you use the UI tool, it's portable for tablets and phones only, whereas the resize pivot is one code approach that fits all. It's also useful in client server and web, okay, as opposed to the UI tool, which only works for tablets and phones. Whew. There you go. So this last slide was a little bit not crystal clear in my head, okay. If you have questions on the comparison here, contact me. But I'm sure if you experimented with it once and read the doc, you'll get clear on what I should have said more crystal clear in the comparison between the methods. Okay, so in summary, resizing logic is a core requirement in mobile device deployment. You can either code it yourself, or you can use Appeon supplied services, which include the resize pivot approach and the server-based sizing declarative approach. And that's the summary of what it's all about. Okay, this was 45 minutes of what are going to be 2 very jam-packed days. Okay, because I think I've got 4 days worth of material, including the labs, that I'm going to try to squeeze into 2 days that are going to be in Atlanta. Okay, this is a very in-depth, hands-on workshop, and in fact, what I'm going to do here is I'll just open up the topic page just from my slide master set here. Okay, and I'll show you the topic page of what's on the 3-day agenda, so that you can get an idea. Okay, basics and IDM. Okay, we're gonna start with the basics using the tools. Okay, and the methodology. We'll do some warm-up labs. We'll master the runtime framework, which is the workspace. Okay, and then we'll deal with lots of issues in migration and how to work around them. Okay, if you're taking a legacy application, then we'll start dealing with mobile UI, and we're going to go into the specifics of designing a UI and how it works in Appeon for phones specifically. And then we'll take a look at the APIs for the device services, and there's a very rich API set to take advantage of many of the facilities, such as camera and the GPS and email and logging and all those kinds of things on the device. Okay, and we'll do labs on all these things. Then we'll look at database issues, and then we'll take a look at packaging and deployment and how all that works. And that's the 3-day agenda. In the 2-day agenda, we're probably going to do less labs, and I'll get through all the presentations, but there'll be less time for hands-on. And we're going to do the 2-day agenda in Atlanta. Same topics, okay, a little scaled down, and definitely the labs will be walked through as opposed to spending a lot of time hands-on code. And you'll go home with a full set of lab exercises and a 60-some-odd page lab book to guide you through it, including all the solutions and all that good stuff. Okay, so that's the notion of the 2-day live workshop, and this is the URL where you can find out about it, and you can register for it. You don't have to be attending the conference to come to the full workshop. And it is my intent, for those of you who can't travel to Atlanta, to record this and then make available for sale the workshop with the labs, so that those people who are unable to attend Atlanta and in the near future want to get involved in Appeon and learn it, they can take this course and get on the road to mastery before they tackle their big application. Okay, that's the story. At this point, Liz, if you're there, I'll open up to questions. I'm Yakov@yakovwerde.com if you want to email me the questions directly, and I thank you for your attendance.